Yo, what is going on, everyone? We are back again for another video, and today we're going to talk about human development theories. All right, so imagine this video is being opened in hundreds of years from now, as part of like a time capsule explaining, like how humans understand development. Today, I'm going to explain three major theories: Paget, Erikson, and Vygotsky, in a way that like most anyone can understand without like a psychological background. You know what I'm saying? So first we have Jean Paget, and for this one we're going to be talking about like cognitive development. So Jean focused on how like children think and learn. If you get what I'm saying. He believed that children are not like just like smaller versions of adults, but like they think in like completely like different ways depending on like how old they are. He said that like children actively build like knowledge by interacting with their environment through like playing like games and stuff, or just like playing around, like exploring stuff, like how you used to go like exploring stuff as a kid, and like problem solving. And he said that there was 4 different stages of cognitive development, and he was starting in infancy, like when people were like babies, and like just like monitoring them through their adolescence. Like as children move through these stages, their like thinking becomes like more like logical or like abstract, like about the world. So we're gonna put it in simple terms, just be like, we're just gonna say that he believed that children are just like us per se, like active learners. Like they're like our little like miniature like test subjects slash like scientists, because they give like their different like little theories about the world, because they don't really know what's going on too much. All right, so then next we're going to talk about Erik Erikson, and for him we're going to talk about psychosocial development. All right, Erikson expanded the idea of like development beyond like childhood. He believed that like development happens across like your entire like lifespan, from like by the time you're born to the time you're old and decrepit, and hurting and everything. So at each stage, people face like a psychological like conflict, such as like you trust people versus like you don't trust people, and then like you get like confusion, or like sometimes you're like happy and then sometimes you're not. So then he also like talked about like how well like someone deals with like conflicts and stuff like that, like how someone deals with like conflicts and like their personality, relationships, and like emotional well-being, like how we all do today. Like for example, like when you're like a kid, like individuals work to form like a stable identity, and like if this stage isn't like resolved successfully, somebody could be like confusing, like what's my purpose in life? I don't really know. So the simplest way we're going to put this is that Erikson believed like life is a series of emotional challenges that basically shape who I and you are. All right, so next we're going to talk about Lev Vygotsky, and his is also a little bit different. For him, we're going to be talking about sociocultural theory, and what that basically means is that he believed learning happens primarily through interaction, like just like talking to other people, just like talking to many different people. And like he basically said he basically tried to preach like the importance of like culture, language, and like guidance from like all around the world, and many different people. Just like you could be like parents, your grandparents, or maybe just even your friends, And like one of the most important ideas is like the zone of proximal development, which is like the difference between and like what a learner can do independently versus what they can do with help. And that he basically believed that learning happens best whenever you're in that zone, like whenever I'm in like a certain zone, like trying to lock in, that's when I learn the best. You know what I'm saying? And in simple terms, like that's just basically saying like we do best when someone helps us, And then the next thing I want to talk about is my quote from the book. So in the book, the author supports Vygotsky's ideas and the development through the lifespan, stating that children's cognitive development is shaped fundamentally by the culture in which they live and by the social interactions that they have with more knowledgeable members of that culture. And basically, she's just backing up what he believes by saying that, like, learning is deeply influenced by, like, culture and, like, different many cultures and, like, social relationships that you have with other people. And then my next point is going to be, like, the real life application. And we're just going to take one from Vygotsky, okay? So a real life example from Vygotsky can be seen in, like, you know, like classrooms. The math teacher works through, like, a problem, like, step by step. And some people work better learning step by step, you know, like they are providing steps. Like, and like as over time, the student they become more confident, you know, they become more, the teacher will gradually remove support, allowing like the students to like solve the problems like independently. Like she'll give you an example on the board and just basically be like, here's our problem, here's the steps to complete the problem, and then she'll give you a set of problems to do. And then as the teacher picks up on you gradually improving, like, oh, they're starting to get it, you know? So that's basically like a real life application to like one of these theories. And to end it off, I'm going to send you guys home with this question. So to end it, I'd like to ask all you guys, which of these theories, Piaget, Erikson, or Vygotsky, do you think like best explains like development and like today's like digital and like social media influence like world? And leave and a why. So there's that, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.